Hi, welcome to SFG Cards and Craft. Today I want to show you how to do this Whimsy Hedgehugs card. What I'm showing on the screen at the moment is just a couple of masks. These masks, I've actually coated them with a plastic film. In Australia it's called contact. It primarily is used for covering books, textbooks, exercise books, just to sort of protect them from getting damaged. Okay, now what I'm doing here is I'm stamping in a moment, the hedgehog, stamping the hedgehog. The paper that I use is a Canson Watercolour 185 grams, my usual. If anyone's watched my videos before, it's the same one I use all the time. The panel that I'm stamping onto there is from Mama Elephant So Fancy Creative Cuts. The ink I'm using is Versa Fine Onyx Black, or Black Onyx. Just trying to line it up properly there, and so that I've got his little toes or her little toes just hanging over to the edge, and masking off the trunk so I can actually put some toadstools. This is a toadstool. I've noticed on YouTube a lot of people call them mushrooms, but in actual fact they are toadstools. I would say that the real ones, because I have actually seen the real ones, my country where I come from is New Zealand, and there is the same toadstools there. They're actually a very dark red, or very bright red, with white spots on them, and they look exactly like that shape, and they are, I would say, poisonous. Most toadstools are. Just putting on the little, I call it a little love bug, I think it's a ladybug. It's got, instead of having black spots, it's got little black hearts on it. There's a little bird, not sure what kind of bird it is, and a bumblebee. I'm also using, I forgot, the something summer, the little ants. I've stamped them on the bottom, as you can see. Okay, now I'm actually, because it's supposed to be a birthday card, I'm actually stamping little cupcakes and presents just off to one side here. It's just briefly. I mean, there's really not anything special about these. And I actually go over the little red cherry on the top later on with a red pen, a glazed red pen. And these presents, when I actually colour those, I'm actually using gel glitter pens. It just makes them nice and shiny, sort of like foiled paper if the presents were wrapped in foiled paper. So that's just showing the cards. I've stamped out so many, even though I'm only using one cupcake and one parcel file. I like to have these sort of things in reserve, so that when I decide to make something like this, I don't have to get all the stamps and all the dies and everything out. So I basically stamp and die cut. Although the little cupcake, I had to hand cut that one because I don't have the dies for that set. That was, I think, candied apple. This is just to do the toadstools and the little ladybug. Just the red part. The whites I go in later on with the white glaze pen and do the white dots. I don't think I show that on screen though, but it is just a white glaze pen. It just takes a while to dry. Probably that's why I didn't do it yet, because it would smudge. This is just bringing in the colours pretty much for the rest of it, which is the hedgehog and the tree stump that it's sitting on. What am I using? Tea dye, rusty hinge, the twig one. I'm having trouble with these names. There's an espresso in there. The grey one is pumice stone. Walnut, I think, was one of the walnut stain. So that's basically just all the browns, just to do the hedgehog and the tree stump. I'm actually going in there at the moment just with clean water. Now I've started on the painting. Sorry, I've had to speed this up quite a lot, so just to try and get it all fitted in. I'm trying to make my videos shorter because I know they are quite long, and this one I have managed to actually cut it down to just, I think, on or under 15 minutes. By the time it's all finished, it'll be about 15 minutes, whereas most of mine are usually around about the 18 minutes. This colour that I'm using, I believe it's actually a mix of the tea dye and the rusty hinge, like just a brush mixed on the palette off to the side there, and I'll come in later on to do a second coat once it's dry. The body, except for the little white coloured belly there, I think this is just done just with tea dye, I think, and then I do a second coat afterwards as well on that to brighten it up a little bit. The second coat might actually have just a touch of rusty hinge in it. I can't say for sure. When I actually mix these things up, I sort of do them and really don't take note of what I'm doing off the side there. That was worn lipstick just for the ears. I don't think I actually use water on the ears because it's such a small area, no pun intended. Wetting down the log now just to bring in the colour a little bit later, or dampening I should say, not wetting. It's actually, the brush is probably quite saturated, but it spreads over the whole tree, so it comes moist. I wouldn't say it's damp, I mean, sorry, I wouldn't say it's wet, it's more just damp by the time it's done. Now I'm putting in some colour. This is the, what do you call it, the twig one, I think, gathered twig, I think, on that one. Looks the same as a gathered twig lid anyway. I do actually do some shading later on with the darker colours on the tree branch, on the tree stump, sorry. I've actually had this stamp set for quite a while, and I've been waiting for the die sets to come in. I actually ordered the die set probably a good 2 months or more ago, but the lady where I'm ordering it from, she told me that Whimsy have recently put their minimum order quantity up to $400, so she said that until she actually gets an order of, well, at least $400, she won't be buying. So I said, oh, no hurry, so I may get them after Christmas sometime, I don't know, but whenever they come. So I thought, but I couldn't hang out too much longer before I wanted to get this card done, so I decided to use masking rather than to wait for the dies. If I had the dies, I would have probably just stamped the tree stump down, and the hedgehog would have been a die cut, I would expect. That's the way I would have done it anyway. And maybe even some of the other little things like the toadstools and the other things might have been also die cut. Just going in and darkening, I think that was just a second coat of the same two colours, the tea dye and rusty hinge, just to darken the spines on the hedgehog a little bit. And I also do another coat of tea dye on which I'm doing there now, on the face and body. The little belly, I actually just side load a angle brush on that one and use the pumice stone. I think that's the only place I actually used the pumice stone, was on the belly of the hedgehog. Hedgehog. So I was going to call it a hedgehog then, but it's a hedgehog. Hedgehog is actually the name of the stamp set. It's called, I think it's just called Whimsy Hedgehugs. Whimsy Hedgehugs. The order number for that one is CWSN155 if anyone is interested. It is a very cute set. There's a second hedgehog in it, which is actually like it's walking on all fours type thing. And there's a couple of little flowers, a heart. There's a couple of sentiments in it too. Sending you a big hedgehug. I love you. Thanks for sticking by me, and you are my cuddle bug. Those are the 4 sentiments that are in it. There's there's 2 hearts. One's a large heart, probably about 3/4 of an inch, and the other one about 1/4 inch. Oh, and there's a third one about 1/2 inch. So there's the 3 hearts, 2 flowers, and pretty much what you see on screen there is what's in it, in the set. Just doing a little bit of shading under her chin. I'm calling it a her because that's what I've decided it is. I've decided after I finish this video that what I might actually do is make a little bow and put the little bow sort of between her ears to make it into, and obviously into a little girl. Because the little cupcake that I did, I painted that with pink icing, so that's why it's a girl. And also the sentiment, I've done that with red ink rather than blue. So as I said, it's for a little girl. This one. Girl card. Just a little bit of worn lipstick onto the cheeks. I use worn lipstick on the cheeks of the bumblebee as well as the bird as well. Same worn lipstick colour. And there it was just a little bit, because the face had dried out, and if you put wet on top of dry it leaves like lines, like where the colour goes to, and I was actually just evening it out a little bit sort of with the colour tea dye for his face. This is coming in with one of the darker colours now. I can't remember if it's the walnut one or the espresso, but one of those two. I mean, you could probably do it with either, it really doesn't matter, just to sort of darken up the area a little bit. And shadowing underneath the hedgehog as well. Sorry about it being off screen a little bit like this, but when doing these videos I sort of get carried away and forget that I'm actually filming and tend to sort of just sometimes lose the area of where I was supposed to be filming between. Often I'll actually tape up the area of where I want to keep the card, but even then sometimes I tend to forget and it actually goes over. Now the rocks, I think the rocks I'm doing that with the gathered twig, I think. Could be shaded also with the ground espresso afterwards, I don't remember, or walnut. One of those two probably. I've got them both out there and both stamped onto the palette, but I don't remember which one I used where. What am I doing here? I think I'm coming in with some green. Yes, I've got the green, I think was mowed lawn that I've used. There was only the one colour green that I've used in it, and I'm pretty sure it was mowed lawn. You could use probably any other green that you wanted to use. I wanted it to look pretty much the colour of a sort of mossy greeny sort of it would be more moss right that close to a tree, although if there's no branches on the tree I guess it could be grass by this time. But I just wanted it to look sort of that colour, just to give it a bit more colour at the bottom of it, because if I left it without any green on there, without any grass, it would have looked a bit sort of odd, as though the tree stump was just floating in midair. So it sort of grounds the tree stump a little bit, having that green there. I don't know why I was holding a rubber band there. Now this, I'm using peacock feathers for the bird. When I actually did one of these cards before, I think I used crushed pistachio, or sorry, not crushed pistachio, the pistachio one that's called something pistachio. But this is actually definitely peacock feathers. And the belly I use is squeezed lemonade. There's the pad in front there. I have a big one of squeezed lemonade, but it's almost dry, so I had to, even just to get the bumblebee done, I had to actually press it a second time onto the palette on the side there. For the bird's beak, I actually bring in worn lipstick to do the cheeks on the bird and the bee shortly, the bumblebee, and as you can see I'm pressing the squeezed lemonade back there again. And I actually mix the worn lipstick and the bit of squeezed lemonade that's left on the palette together to get like an orangey colour for the beak. I didn't bother getting out any specific orange, and I thought, oh well, since I've got these two colours here, I can mix up some sort of an orange with. There goes the worn lipstick back onto the palette there. So I mixed those two together and actually just got an orange for the beak. That's why you can see me doing the beak shortly, and I didn't actually get an orange out, so that's the reason. That's how I did it. What I should have done also with this little bird, just after it's dried, I actually did it on the first card that I did, but I didn't think to do it on the second card. With the quarter and jangle brush that I've got, if you actually pick up just a little bit of colour in all the way across the bristles, you can actually go in and just dot lines for the wing feathers and for the tail feathers, so it looks like there's lines there. You could do the same with like a fine liner brush too, but I actually didn't have a fine liner brush out there, but at some point I probably will do that on the card, but it's too late to show it on the video. But you can put probably about 3 or 4 lines across each of that side wing and the tail, just to make it look like it's got sort of thicker feathers in it. This I think is broken china I'm coming in with here. One of the blues just for the sky, just very lightly into the background. Started off a little bit heavy on the side there, but it doesn't matter. And also I put a couple of clouds on, but to finish off I actually, on the little bumblebee's wings, I actually use some, I've got some Spectrum Noir clear glitter pen. I use that, I put 2 coats on it to make it really glittery. Also the clouds, before I stamped the sentiment on, I actually coated those two coats with the Spectrum Noir. Because I'm using Lawn Fawn ink, that seems to reactivate with water, so I learnt that the hard way, so ask me how I know. That's how I know. I learnt it the hard way. So to do the stamping, you have to do the Spectrum Noir glitter pen under and then put the sentiment on top. So that is pretty much, the card is now finished. So thank you for watching. I'll try and get this video up as soon as possible, and I've got a few more cards that I'd like to actually do soon, so thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like, or if you've liked this, and hit like if you liked. Thank you. Bye bye.